which shade would fit you best. So I want you to grab anything in your bathroom, a tissue, a piece of toilet paper, anything that's white. So something that's stark white.
Okay.
And put it against your skin. It works a little bit better if it's up against your neck. And what the white tissue will do is it will help you see what color is more apparent on your skin. So you're either gonna see more yellow or more pink. So if you're seeing a lot of yellow, then you're a yellow undertone. If you're seeing more pink, then you're a pink or a red undertone. If it's really hard to determine what color you're seeing, then that means you might be a neutral undertone, which means
more neutral.
Yep, equal parts of yellow and pink, which is okay too.
Okay.
So our shades, if you're fair is our lightest shade, that's porcelain, that's a pink undertone. Then we go to light, that is going to be a yellow undertone.
Okay, so we're gonna put the shade chart up right there.
Okay,
there
perfect.
you guys have it. There's the fair, there's the light.
Yep, pink undertone, light yellow, light, I'm sorry, is a neutral undertone, so equal parts of pink and yellow. Then we have medium, which is a yellow undertone, which I'm gonna be wearing. Then we have tan, which is also a yellow undertone. That's our deepest shade.
Okay, great. So those are the 4 shades that you guys have available. What's really cool is that here at Beauty IQ, we're not only giving you the foundation, by the way, which people love, the HydraGel foundation, but we're also giving you the brush that makes it all go on so perfectly. You know, I feel like to have the great, beauty products is one thing, but to have the correct tools to apply them makes it all the more better. So if you are a beginner, this is the place to pick it up because we give you both here and we bring it to you at a great value. 4 payments over the next, over the next 4 months, you can pay $10 and get this home. All you got to do is go to beautyiq.com and type in that number in the search engine to get it home. All right, so show us how to apply.
So what I'm doing is I usually put, with any foundation I apply it to the back of my hand first. I find that warms the product up a little bit before I apply it to my skin. So I'm just gonna dip it into my brush here. And I typically start in the center of my face. The center of my face is typically where I have a little more texture, a little more redness, and where I need more coverage. So I want the majority of the product to be in the center of the face.
Okay.
So I'm just gonna dab or stipple in areas that I need a little bit more coverage and then blend in circular motions out to the perimeter where I need a little bit less coverage.
Okay, so always start in the middle and then go out, or those places where you need a lot of coverage. Like some people need it underneath the eyes.
Exactly,
right?
So start wherever you want the most concentrated product, where you need the most coverage, and this is a full coverage foundation, but it's super lightweight. You're getting the best of a cream, a liquid, and a powder. It feels like a cream, you get the coverage of a cream. It's full coverage, yet it's super, super lightweight, and it dries down to this amazing silky texture, almost like a powder without that dry look. It's the best of all worlds.
Uh-oh, we got a doll check-in. Doris came into the chat. She's gonna be hanging out with us for the next hour in the chat too, guys. So if you have any questions, Doris is also gonna help us answer your questions too. We have one question in our chat about this foundation, meaning is it just for a specific skin type, meaning, dry or, more mature skin, or does it work for all skin types, whether you have oily skin, whatever, who does it work for best?
It definitely works for all skin types. So if you have dry skin, we use a soybean derivative in the formula, so it's super, super hydrating. But like I said, it dries down to this amazing silky finish. So if you're oily, you get the hydration that a lot of times oily skin tones need, but yet you're not gonna find that breakthrough oil throughout the day because it dries down to that beautiful silky texture, almost like a powder.
You know what I love about this? I've got somebody in the chat, Diane just said, this also photographs beautifully.
Oh my gosh,
How many times have you applied your foundation and gone out in public and you sit there and you go, oh my gosh, I look horrible in that selfie?
All the time.
Right?
It can look dry or crepey, or it can settle into fine lines. This never settles into fine lines or wrinkles. I always look hydrated, full coverage at all times. I never find redness breaking through. It neutralizes any green. I have a lot of veins that are visible. It neutralizes any green or blue because I have very translucent skin. So it all day long, it helps me out.
So what are some of the common beginner mistakes that people make with foundation?
So I would say number one is not matching it to your undertone.
Okay.
So if you ever had that line of demarcation, I know back in the day I used to just buy a tan foundation because I wanted to be tan, and I would only put it on my face. So that line of demarcation, it's very obvious where you are stopping. So if you're matching to your skin tone, then you're not going to get that line of demarcation. Plus, you should always blend down into your neck regardless. And that will make it really look undetectable. It will look like you're wearing nothing.
Okay.
Blend down to the neck.
Blend down to the neck, ladies. So if you're new, if you're a beginner, if you're somebody that's, just kind of trying out foundation, because I know some people, foundation is new for them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
And then also, with regards to application, is it okay to put the foundation directly on the brush when it's like a liquid form like this, a cream form?
You can do whatever you feel comfortable.
Okay.
You can absolutely put it right on the brush. I find a little goes a long way with this foundation. So you don't want to waste product. Sometimes when I put it directly on my brush with any liquid foundation, I find that I might waste a little bit of product. I put too much on. If I dab it from my hand, I'm in control of how much product I'm picking up, and you'll see how much really goes a long way with this foundation.
Wow. So we've got Diane is like in love with this foundation in our chat. She said that when she got engaged, by the way, congratulations. Diane.
Yay.
On getting engaged. You get some likes and some hearts from me there in our chat. But she said she wore this for her engagement party back in October, knowing that she would be taking a lot of pictures. And then she also shared that on her Instagram, she has been wearing this foundation for the last 3 days, and all the pictures on her Instagram have these on it. Because when you want to take your selfies, you want to look good. And we don't always have, those little apps that smooth everything out. Sometimes the foundation smooths everything out, evens everything out when it's a really good foundation. This one is fabulous. This at retail alone, by the way, guys, is $38. Here, you're getting it with the brush for just $2 more. So all you gotta do is choose the right shade, whether you're fair, light, medium, or tan. And I'm just gonna ask you, Mel, again, to tell us which undertones are in these different shades.
Yes, so the fair is going to be our lightest shade. So that's if you're a porcelain skin tone. It does have a pink or red undertone. Then we go to we go to light. Light is going to be a neutral undertone, so equal parts of yellow and pink. Then we have medium. Medium is the shade that I'm in. That is a yellow undertone. And then we have the tan, which is also a yellow undertone. That's the deepest shade that we offer.
All right. And then also, quick question with regards to, again, beginners out there, right? How do we keep that foundation from getting into our hair and our hairline? Because we want to get really, really close to it.
That's a good question.
Yeah, what do you say?
So that's why I concentrate the most of my product in the center of my face and blend outwards. Then it will blend nicely into my hairline here where I have a little bit of sideburns there, and then blend it. So it's almost like I'm using less product around my hairline, so it just kind of effortlessly blends out. I'm just using a little bit of the excess on my brush around my hairline. I'm not putting too much product up there.
Okay,
That's
cool.
typically how I avoid that.
And then if for long wear, right? If we know that we're gonna have a really, really long day, like I think of like brides on their wedding day, getting ready early in the morning, then taking photos, then going to church, then going to a reception. How do we need like a primer or anything to make this foundation last?
So this foundation, you really don't. You don't need a primer. You don't need a setting powder. You don't need a setting spray. You're gonna see me in a little bit here. I'm gonna go right into some contour and blush, which are powders. They're gonna blend right on top of this without any setting powder. It really will last you all day. You're not gonna see any blemishes breaking through or any cracking. It won't settle into fine lines and wrinkles. But if you do want a tip, if you're really looking to wear your foundation from early in the morning to late at night, I always say moisturize underneath. That's my biggest tip. I make sure my moisturizer's on so that my foundation, no matter what foundation it is, it will lay beautifully and it will stay all day long. Promise.
Caitlin just wrote in our chat that she wears this foundation every day to work and it lasts all day. You go, girl.
Me too.
I know, right? So wonderful to have something that's so freeing because foundation just really, kind of gives you that beautiful canvas, and that is so important, right? To have that first canvas ready so that you can, apply your makeup, and whether you're going for a natural look or whether you're going for something super dramatic, you can achieve it right there with that. That's the HydraGel foundation. How many months of a supply do you think this is?
6 months.
6 months supply?
Yeah, I'd say 6 months.
Wow.
Depends
that's
how much you're
great.
using. I'd say 3 to 6 months. Depends if you wear it like I do every single day. Lasts me about 3 months, but 3 to 6 months, I'd say.
Great, and remember, you're getting the brush to go along with it. So the HydraGel foundation, there's the brush, and the brush, you just have to see this. This is like the nicest. Oh my gosh, and why is it at an angle?
It's amazing. So we call it the precision foundation brush. So that angle allows you to get around your nose, under the eye, and around those contours of the face. It just hugs those contours so perfectly.
Now, how long do you blend for? Do you just keep buffing, or do you just, is it really easy?
So you're not gonna see any streaks with this foundation. So you almost instantly see you have this flawless finish. So you don't need to blend for very long. I'm continuously blending during the cell, but you could really just quickly buff it onto your skin and you'll see that it instantly sets. There's no streaks. It looks perfect. I would just blend for a few seconds until you achieve the coverage that's desired.
Yeah, well, you know, it's so funny. It's true, right? Sometimes when we're here and we're presenting, we're like buffing and buffing and buffing and buffing. But the truth of the matter is that it goes on really easy. It takes 2 seconds.
You don't need to do it as long as I'm doing it.
No, you
But
don't.
the brush feels so good that you want to just keep massaging your face.
It's like, oh, brush therapy.
Kind of nice.
I had a bad morning. My coffee didn't come out of the machine.
Tomorrow's Monday. I need a little extra face
I know.
massage.
And it just wakes up and you look fabulous and you feel good. That is awesome. Listen, let's just show the shades one more time really quickly.
Yeah.
There's 4 shades to choose from. Mel, if you could just walk us through those with the undertones.
Absolutely. So fair is our lightest shade. That's going to be a porcelain skin tone. That is a pink undertone. Then we have light. That's a neutral undertone. So equal parts of yellow and pink. Then we have medium. I'm in the medium. That's a yellow undertone. And then we have tan. That's our deepest shade. That's a beautiful like Caribbean skin tone. That's a yellow undertone as well.
Yes, and remember guys, the way to find out your perfect shade color, take a white piece of paper, white tissue, and put it up against your skin. And if you see more pink, then you know that you have pink undertones. If you see more yellow, then you know that you have yellow undertones. If you're like me, I kind of feel like I'm right down the middle. I'm like neutral.
Yeah, you're neutral.
I feel like I'm kind of neutral. All right, so pick it up at beautyiq.com. All you gotta do is choose your shade. And remember, at doll10.com, this is $38 on its own. Here, you're getting the brush for just $2 more. So that's fabulous. All right, so let's go to our next step in Beginner 101 beauty class tonight. This is going to be when you've got those little things that just really you want to take care of, right? I'm talking about blemishes. I'm talking about little veins or little scars or anything